Okay.
We call to order the February 28th, 2018 Transportation Committee hearing. Benny Johnson and Randy Clort were not able to make it tonight. All other members are present. We will stand for the invocation, which will be led by Councilman John Cagnalotti.
Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, we ask your blessings on this meeting tonight. Guide us to do the business of the people, the best interests and the best answers. We ask again for our parishioners to keep the Ritchie family in mind. Passing of Terry Ritchie, his funeral was today. We ask your blessings on all of Ascension Parish, especially our employees and the staff. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Check and see.
Okay, we have a public comment period. If the public would like to speak, please come up, sign a card, hand it to Dara, and she will take it. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Moving on to number 4, the chairman's report. I've got nothing to add at this time, but we'll speak on some items at the end of the meeting. Moving on to number 5, acceptance of minutes of the February 5th, 2018 meeting.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Motion by Councilman Todd Lambert, so moved. Department report. Mr. Enela.
Good evening. In front of you, you have the report here attached with the DOTD project reports. With the 2017 road maintenance program, the work has begun on Task 2. They've laid all the drainage culvert pipes for the upgrades on Trails End and Brentwood. But they'll be performing curb replacement on Bordeaux. That was started 2 days ago, and they're scheduled to begin milling and soil cement operations on Charles, Gonzalez, Bordeaux, Trails End Street North, and Brentwood Court. Also underway is the 2018 road maintenance program. R.J. Daigle is performing drainage operations on Rayco Sanders, North Robert Wilson, and they're going to begin on Ridge Road on 3-1 tomorrow. And what I mean by drainage operations, that is upgrading any cross culverts on any of those roads. Soil cement on the following roads will begin tomorrow as well: Rayco, Robert Wilson, and Ridge Road, and about 2 weeks from now on March 15th. So, Councilwoman Casso, you'll be pleased to hear that.
You bet it.
The next page, LA 22 Mill and Overlay. That's a project that's in the CRPC program, or funded by CRPC, with the parish making a 20% match. There was a recent meeting, a TAC meeting, where this project was up for an amendment to add the money for the construction increases that the Sorrento fire chief asked us to put in to that project. I think they're going to move that they moved it to the next month, and so they're going to approve that. And then DOTD is going to be ready to put that out for bid, I think, in May. So that'll be done fairly soon. Like I said, the DOTD project report is attached. If any of you have any questions on that, I'd be happy to entertain them. If not, we can move into the Move Ascension program update.
I'd like everybody to read it and have a look at it before we move on.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Mike, tell me what we're looking at. We start construction tomorrow on Ridge. What does that project look like? How long will we be under construction? I understand accounting for weather, but what does this look like for the people who live on the Ridge Road?
I can get you a schedule from the contractor.
That would be appreciated.
I'll email you that, if not tomorrow, next week, early next week. Right now, it's just going to be replacing any of the cross drains and upgrading them as needed. But I'll get to you that schedule. Right now, the cross drains aren't going to impact them that much. But in 2 weeks, they'll be doing the mill and over of the reconstruction of it. So it could be impacted, and I'll get you that information and talk to R.J. Daigle, and if we need to meet with you and discuss that, we will.
Is there some way to identify, to put this in? I'm I'm not as savvy with my electronics as I should be, and I love to kind of put things on my Facebook page and let people kind of know. But I'm not good at it. So if it comes to me in an email, I don't know how to transfer it from an email to a, if it comes to me in a Word document, I can copy it and paste it onto my page.
Okay.
So, and I know I should learn, but I haven't. I'm an old dog. Please send it to me in a way that I can easily
Sure.
transmit it to my social media.
Absolutely.
That I am inept at operating.
Okay, we can do that, and maybe if there's a homeowners association president email address, we can, do that. I'm not sure if they have that out there.
I'm not aware of that, but I'll find out.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
It's like, tell Mr. David Bro.
I'm sorry?
Tell Mr. David Bro. He knows
Okay,
everybody.
he knows everybody, okay.
Absolutely.
We'll try to get you that information. We'll work with it anyway to get that information out there.
Thank you. I appreciate this so much. I mean,
Yes, ma'am.
it's been a long time since the flood, and these folks' roads just, because they
ma'am.
sat underwater for so long, the road is just almost not there.
Yes, ma'am.
So we appreciate it very much. I know they do.
Okay.
Councilman Lambert, do you have any questions? Okay,
good.
we're good, thank you.
Okay,
You can move on.
okay. I'll give you we'll start the move ascension update, and I'll call Jeff first with H&TB up.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, council members. Boy, in your packet, you have an abridged version of our briefing since we were here earlier this month. We have progressed in some areas and not as far as others since it's just been a few weeks. But going through your briefing, you'll see that we've already assigned and executed 11 task orders to different contract design consultants. And it's tabulated for you in your briefing there. As you're aware, we completed several traffic analyses for turn lanes and roundabouts. Those are all complete, as well as the signal timing and synchronization on US 61 and over in Donaldsonville. The one in Donaldsonville is about 70-75% complete, and I'll really hit on the US 61 here in a minute. We do have several more task orders that we're poised to execute, and those are listed right there as far as the 929 Bro roundabout, the turn lane at Henry, and on 10930. And of course, the entire list is in your attachment, I think labeled Appendix A, of all of the projects as well as the ones not under design, and we continue to add as projects become brought to our attention for further evaluation. Getting back to the US 61 signal timing and synchronization, we submitted the Neil Schaefer traffic analysis data that we had procured to the department in early January. They received this. The department is going to implement this new signal timing in 2 phases, from Highway 30 to 621, Phase 1, and 621 all the way to the parish line at 427. Now, they have completed the new timing design for that Phase 1 from 30 to 627, and they're run some test models on it. And I met with, myself and Mr. Enlow met with Chris Ewing and the department and their traffic operations engineer, and that implementation and a new signal timing will be completed in a month from now. So about half of what we're looking at, we should see some very good operational flow along airline on that stretch. And they're already beginning and underway with the timing design on that second phase, which is 621 to the parish line. So we're anxious to see that being implemented here in the next month and go from there. On page 2, as you know, and this is just a recap, that we have currently the $9.3 million in CRPC federal funding, and we were just awarded through this last call for projects an additional $7.6 million for both Duplessis and Germany. We're working with CRPC and the DOT to get those projects set in their system so that we can begin NTP and our consultants to begin the pre-construction work. On the individual project status, you'll see that on the back page of your report. It's a tabulated format, whereas last time I presented a very detailed percent complete versus actual schedule, and here it's more high-level major milestone percent complete since the last presentation from just a couple of weeks ago, just so y'all can kind of see where each project stands with regard to design, right-of-way acquisition, and some of the other major milestones. Talking about right-of-way acquisition, to recap, we know that the DOTD is putting some funds towards two of our projects, the Church Point Roundabout and the Bayou Narcisse off-system bridge replacement. They're dedicating $1 million towards the roundabout and a little over $500,000 towards the bridge replacement. Plans are complete, and appraisals and negotiations are underway with the ownerships on the bridge replacement project. We expect those to be very amicable sales, and so that we can begin moving, relocating the utilities soon afterwards. On the roundabout, these need to be because they've been sitting for a while, updated to the newest DOT roundabout standards. So we've completed the title reports, but I've put a pause on actually going any further with the acquisition so we can be assured that it won't reflect any changes to the maps, because we don't want any rework or paid for rework, certainly. And of course, on St. Landry to Ashland, the news on that is we're buying the property for $1 from BASF. Our sub-consultant GCR has already begun preparing those sale documents. An ordinance was passed by the council last month. Before the full council tomorrow will be an amended ordinance with the corrected property descriptions and map. Yes, sir.
Thanks for one pause. I see, Dollar, can you put this up on the screen so we can all see that? So everybody in the, oh, about that to you. I'd ask Jeff to do it, but I don't know if he can figure that out.
Jerome's here, he can do it.
Jerome could do it.
Jerome's
He's
expert.
old school.
I just like giving Jeff a hard time.
Yeah, I just heard why Jerome could do it. He's old school,
I know how to use this.
knows how to use an overhead.
There we go.
You can zoom in.
Yeah. But Jeff will never have anything done in the district again.
And that's another thing is also that, a lot of this information that we continually update and feed to the DPW and their IT staff, so they continually update in the website as well. So that, anytime the public wants to go, they can see the changes from month to month on, they're this X amount further with design, they've advanced in right-of-way acquisition and things like that. So, I just have a note on here about the DOT projects. We kind of like to track that, even though it's not necessarily move ascension, but it's activity and transportation here in our parish. Last year, they let over $120 million in construction contracts in Ascension Parish. Thus far, there's only been one project let by DOT in Ascension, and that's the turn lanes at 621 and Airline, with a construction value of about $600,000. Flipping to the next page, we talk about the pavement preservation program. As you know, we're working with Mike's staff and CRPC for developing a programmatic preventive maintenance program. What we've done is we've used the data they've created and are programming out a 3-year program for crack sealing, chip seals, and thin lift overlays. We're assisting the parish to program out a multi-year preventive maintenance program and kind of helping them develop a more programmatic maintenance program as opposed to a position of being reactionary. And so hopefully, pretty soon what we'll be seeing is a lot of activity, a lot of construction of orange barrels throughout the parish. The next item is the overlay program, but I believe Mike's group has talked about that in their presentation, so I'll skip over that and move just on to the ongoing activities. And obviously with program management, we're continuing to engage all stakeholders in the public, businesses, the council, this committee, the administration. We continually evaluating the road transport program with DOTD. We've evaluated and have several recommendations. One is along Highway 930 that we'll be probably presenting a proposal to the steering committee sometime next week. Again, we can continue to update and monitor the program schedule, the program budgets, and keeping a more programmatic overview, and have made projections all the way out through the next 4 years of how we can move this program and keep it sustainable. With regard to environmental, that's always a huge issue, getting our permits. And what we've done is on all of the immediate action projects, our environmental sub, ELOS Environmental, has completed wetland delineation, has submitted that to the Corps earlier this month. They're evaluating that now. They've also completed the full Corps permit application for the St. Landry Connector. Now, that's currently in the open public comment period, and that will close on March 12th. Assuming that we don't have a lot of adverse comments, we should probably receive the core permit about a month after that in mid-April. Once we receive that, we'll be able to move on to clearing and grubbing, and hopefully by the end of summer, being poised in a position to let a construction project for the actual road construction. Of course, we continue to prepare templates for the parish's consideration on construction proposals and how we're going to let these projects. And the only other items I have are just some action items with regard to further discussion and meetings. I know last week the council had sent back to this committee the task order for public outreach that we had worked with the administration to prepare. So at the administration and this committee's discretion, we're happy to discuss that at any time. Additionally, again, the off-pause of the master plan, again, at the discretion of this committee and the administration, we stand ready to work with y'all on that. And then, of course, we're trying to schedule one for when most of the folks are coming back from Washington, but we're going to be trying to schedule a more set monthly steering committee meeting. So as designs and right-of-way acquisitions and utility issues advance rapidly, we can make some real-time programmatic decisions at the highest level with the leadership. And again, like I said, since this is somewhat of an abridged version since we had a meeting a few weeks ago, that's all I have to report, but I'm staying ready to answer any questions y'all may have.
Councilman Lambert.
Yeah, Jeff, appreciate the steering committee. I know we hadn't met in a while, so, it's very important that we
Yes, sir.
kind of get on top of things with that, so whenever they come back. I'm staying back, but I'm not going to D.C. this go-around. But when they come back, definitely let's have some meetings.
I would
Get moving
like
on
to
it.
do that as soon as they return,
Yeah.
all parties, and then set something up probably intermittently between this committee meeting and the following month, so that every 2 weeks we're having some real-time decisions and reporting.
Good. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Councilman Caccolotti.
Just real quick, Jeff, under right-of-way acquisition.
Yes, sir.
Page 2 of your report, Ryder Road, Church Point Road, roundabout. You said project is in final design, update to current specs underway. Who's handling that? Is that,
The design consultant is Fenstermaker.
okay. I didn't have a name and I don't see it as,
I'll include that
identified.
for the next report.
Okay.
Councilwoman Cazza.
Yeah, just a comment, Jeff. I agree with Todd that we need to engage more as a steering committee.
Yes.
But one of my concerns, and I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus here, okay? I've been speaking to the young man who's doing, his organization is doing the work on Seabro. He said, "Ms. Terry, have you seen it?" I said, "No, I haven't seen it." He said, "Well, somebody was supposed to call you, and it may have been in his team, and let you know that, we had a preliminary design, and you needed to see it." I have not heard from a soul. I think the courtesy that these teams could extend to these councilmen who have projects in their district is when they have a design, or at least something that remotely appears to be a design, they need to let us know. If they got to send it to me by email, something, so that I can, or any other one of these gentlemen could say, "Whoa, that's just not going to be acceptable."
Right.
I don't know that that's the case with Seabro Road, and I suspect that it's not. But I don't want to get to so far down the road that, on something that's not plausible, and then have to turn around.
I completely can appreciate everything you're saying. That project is being designed by Hartman Engineering.
Yes.
They have yet to make a submittal. Their first submittal is due here in a few weeks. They're around 50% complete with preliminary design, and their first submittal is due at 60%. So they have not submitted a design yet. We've been working with them closely on alignment options to set alignments, but we have no design plans at this time to provide to the council or this committee. But
I'm going tomorrow
I'm
to
happy.
see their design plan.
Matter of fact, he texted me and asked if I would attend that.
Very good. Because, I just want to know. I want to know before we get too far down this road.
Absolutely
I'm
agree.
a firm believer, no matter how far down the wrong road you've gone, turn around. But I don't want to have to turn around too far down the road if I can possibly avoid it.
Understood.
And that's a key piece of road for the movement of traffic in my district. And it's got many, many longtime residents on there who need to understand how this is going to impact them. And I just think as a courtesy to them and certainly to these gentlemen and their constituents going forward, we need to be certain that we see those things as quickly as possible.
Yes, ma'am, I agree.
Thank you.
I just have a brief question. I understand that there were some issues with the design at the roundabout at 929 and Parker Road. I guess it being an older design and having to update it for the state. Is that still something that's going on? I get a lot of questions on that. So.
No, I think I've captured what you're asking. It has been started and stopped several times, you're right. And now we've included into Move Ascension to help kind of drive it forward. That project has some DOTD money tied to it. So that includes DOTD oversight, their review, and somewhat of their processes, which are a little bit more lengthy and time-consuming. They seem to want us to kind of take several steps back where we already have prior approvals from, let's say, previous chief engineers or previous traffic design engineers. But because some of the traffic analyses were done a long time ago, they want us to kind of back up a little bit when we're trying to move forward, because we do have letters of no obligation from the several of the pipeline companies that going with the plan, conceptual design we have now, they will approve and not object for us building in and around their pipelines. So we're working with the DOTD. We're trying to find some middle ground that we can just advance this project forward.
Okay. And thank you for not saying I asked a very poor question and don't know what I'm asking about. You handled that well. Do you have any other questions?
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay,
for the
thank you
report.
very much.
Appreciate the report, yes.
Mr. Antelope, do you have anything else to add for your department report?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Going to move on to number 7, recommendation to council to place the modification and construction of the westbound intersection of Germany Road and Airline Highway in the capital improvement budget and allow the use of traffic impact fees and capital improvement funds to pay for the design and construction of Germany Road to mirror the improvements installed at the intersection of Duplessis and Airline. Mr. Fournier.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, the next 3 items on your agenda are interrelated, so I'm going to give kind of an overview of the whole thing, and then we'll take one item at a time. Back when Silver Oaks Development, as you see on your map on your screen, this project right here ties into Airline Highway, and it also ties into Germany Road. When this project was approved, 3 right turn lanes were approved in conjunction with the project as a condition of approval on that planned unit development. One coming from Airline into the project, that's a project-related right turn lane. Another one from Germany Road that will tie in fact, this one's built and it's in use right now, from Germany Road into the project. That's a project-related development. But another project that was conditioned on them was to build a right turn lane from Germany Road onto Airline Highway, all right? And with the condition as it was, and since Germany Road was a traffic impact fee road that is to be built or can be built and improved with traffic impact fee funds, the developer asked me if we could do a credit agreement if he were to build this for improvements to that road. In discussions with one of the council members, they felt that an improvement to that sort, just putting a right turn lane, would not alleviate a lot of the traffic on Germany Road, right? So during that course of that conversation, we looked at the improvements that were across the street, across Airline Highway, that have just been in place, that the new Walmart store is right here, and this is the Lanyap Center. It used to be the LeBlanc's, now it's Rouse's. And they put a left turn lane going into Airline, a through lane all the way through Germany Road, and they also put a right turn lane going onto Airline Highway. We would like to mimic those improvements on this side. And as a result, what we'd like to do is just have the developer for the Oak Lake, the Silver Oak project, pay all of their traffic impact fees, which total $388,000 plus. And that would go into the pot. We would use some of that money along with some other money that we can budget to make the full improvements to the intersection instead of just having a right turn lane. So that's what's before us tonight, all right? So the first item on the agenda, or the first item of this, is to basically get a recommendation from the committee to use capital improvement funds and traffic impact fee funds to make this improvement that would mimic the improvements that are on the west side of Airline Highway. So that's the first item that we'd like to talk about, right? The second item that we'd like to talk about, if you agree to that, would be to remove the requirement from the Silver Lakes development to build that right turn lane and basically have them pay the full traffic
credit.
impact fees, the $388,000+, all right? And if you would agree to those, we would just eliminate the third item, which is to enter into a credit agreement for them to build the right turn lane, right? 'Cause that goes away if the first two are approved, right? So with that, I'd like to open it up to any questions you might have. And I know, Councilman Lambert, you were instrumental in putting that condition on that plat.
That's correct. But after talking with Jerome and Benny, which this is splitting me and Benny's district, this looks like a whole lot better plan because we get more for our buck here with the collecting all the impact fees. You know, from 388,000, the right-hand turn lane was only gonna be 193. So we actually get more for it. It's gonna benefit everybody, you know, in that area because it's just a right-hand turn lane's just not the way to go. If we got the funding and the mechanism to make it happen, that's what we want to do, I believe.
I'm happy to make a motion to approve
I
item number
second
7.
Okay. I just have a brief question. As far as the impact fees, is that from all three phases? The
No,
388,000?
that's just from the apartment phase.
That's just from the
actually.
apartment phase?
Yeah,
Okay.
the other phase basically is subject to the impact fees for single-family detached residential, and as they're pulling building permits, they have
We're getting those.
pulled that. So the 388 is just for the apartments.
Is that phase 1 and 2 of the apartments? Because remember, it
Yes,
was
it's a total. Yeah,
Okay, great.
they have a total of 14 buildings. Each building has 24 units. So if you multiply that by the rate per apartment, it's $1,156 per apartment. So that basically totals up to 388.
Okay, great. I just wanted to make sure
Yeah.
I knew what was going on there. So we have a motion by Councilwoman Cazzo and a second by Councilman Lambert. Do we have any objection? No objection, no discussion. We've already discussed it. So moved on item 7. Moving on to item number 8.
So
which-
item number 8 basically has us recommending to the Planning Commission, the Joint Planning Zoning Commission, and to the council to remove that requirement of them to build the right turn lane. Right.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion by Councilwoman Cazzo, a second by Councilman Lambert. Any discussion? Any objection? None. So moved.
And item number 9 now becomes moot since you just took those two.
Motion to dismiss, if we need to do that.
So, yeah, we'll, I don't know if we need to dismiss it. We'll just, item number 9 is moot, and we'll pass on it. Moving on to number 10.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jerome. Very good. And I would like to say, just like Councilman Lambert said, that Councilman Lambert and Councilman Johnson were very instrumental in this. Councilman Johnson tried to make it tonight. He couldn't, but I know he worked hard on this, so thank you. Moving on to item number 9, approval of additional funding for asphalt and asphalt filler in the amount of $320,000 for the pavement management department. Mr.
Motion to
Enlow.
approve.
Second.
We have a question, a discussion on this.
Okay.
Is this an additional 320 for this year?
That's correct, Councilman. This is for material only. This is
Okay.
to keep the guys working.
And y'all feel it's enough to last the year? Because they are doing a great job. We're getting a lot of benefit and bang for our buck with
They are. We,
the little crew that we have. They're doing some roads that wouldn't be done probably from 10 years down the road, you know, on
Yes,
some
sir.
patching, so.
Yes, sir. And we've also just added, we've added on the 2018 chip seal program information that we got from CRPC, that H&TB helped us. So to be able to program that out, put it into Cartograph for these guys to go out and look at these roads and really get a proactive jump start on this is kind of what's adding to this as well. To answer your question, I'm not sure if it would take, that material would take them through to the end of the year, but it's going to help them move forward with fixing more
Okay.
roads.
I make that motion and that we move forward.
I have questions on that. How far will this amount get us?
From the estimates, I've gotten from our pavement management manager, about 3 months. I think we've gotten the regular budget for the asphalt and the rocks and all the ancillary materials is around $445,000. And so this is to increase it by $320,000. I think we've utilized or paid for approximately $260,000 to date. So really just leaves us around just less than $200,000 left in the budget. So adding this 320 is going to help, but it's only going to bring us to another 2-3 months worth of work.
I guess that's my question. Are we going to have to come back and do this every 2 or 3 months?
I hope so. Well,
Well,
and I only mean that.
I want to have to do this every 2 or 3 months.
I agree with you, but
You're right.
I mean that in the fact that those guys are going to be working hard and putting it down, so.
How much more would we need in the budget to, say, get a 6 months from now amount? Because it's my understanding of it, and I've talked to some of these guys, and actually, I went out and took a look at them doing crack sealing. I'd never seen it before in real life.
Sure.
Ron and Billy were doing it, and it was an amazing thing. And it was more complex than I expected. But one of the things that struck me from talking to them is they don't have the material, they've got nothing to do. And it's my understanding that we've got about 18 to 20 people in this department. If we don't provide them the material, they have nothing to do. And I don't want to have parish employees sitting around twiddling their fingers trying to get things done. So what kind of numbers are we looking at to move this, say, a 6-month period, which may not get us through the year, but if we have a hurricane or something, it may delay them, so it may get us a little further.
Right, we crunched the numbers just on the chip seal, the new chip seal work, and that'd be around just under $1 million in just material. Would get that going. I'm not saying that they're going to finish out that entire list. That's 136 roads added to what they're doing now. But, you know, we could, it's just budgeted. This isn't going to be sitting on the yard. This is for us to go out and purchase it from the approved vendor. You know, it's not going to sit there if we don't use it. So the budget's just going to be that. I'd say, you know, anywhere from 800 to 900,000, but, you know, to get us to the end of the year. Weather, there's a lot of factors. If we have good weather, then they may blow through that. So, but we are going to be doing more chip seal and thin lift overlay and the crack seal in addition to the pothole patch and pothole filling and full depth patching and so we've got a lot of activities going on. They may be able to blow through, you know, around $800,000 more of material.
I'm going to ask you a stupid
year.
question real quick.
Sure.
As far as like this type of chip sealing and crack sealing, comparing the per mile cost for this to the per mile cost if we don't do this, first of all, what is the benefit of doing this work? It's my understanding, and I'm a layperson, that it extends the life of current roads. Is that?
Mr. Chairman, absolutely. And what I've asked CRPC to do, because they presented a graph to us to show that if we actually did some chip sealing, crack sealing on a road that at a certain degradation level, that if you would do the work for the crack sealing, chip sealing, how much longer the road would last. So I got them to, and I asked Jamie Sett to give me some numbers of if we do nothing, what would happen if we, you know, over a period of 5-10 years, what it would take to build that road back up, and what we would save if we did the work now. So some of that would give you a comparison of the cost that it's taking you to do what you have to do now and what the cost would be in the future if you didn't take any action that you were taking. I think that's going to help. I haven't gotten that back from him yet, but I did ask him that particular question, and we should have that pretty soon. I'll check with him tomorrow.
Okay. So, Mike, if I understand correctly, we need closer to 800 to 900,000. I'm sorry, Councilman Lambert, I'm babbling on.
You good, and I appreciate the input. I think I'd amend my motion to go at least 700,000 with this project. And, you know, put it in the budget, and if we use it, fine. If we don't use it all, like you said, we can roll it.
It's materials only, so that's all we're
Good.
talking about here.
Because it is saving now, you know, the foundation of the road, if you put that crack seal, well, like Mr. Dawson says, come down 10 years from now, you ain't gonna have to do that much. Reconstruction it's not gonna be as bad.
If he may be able to get the numbers, from what I'm understanding, you know, if you have a road that's in very good or good condition, then you may prolong it another 5 to 7 years and keep it in that condition, whereas if you did nothing, then it could deteriorate faster, depending on where it's at in the parish. You know, there's a higher water table in certain areas, and they degrade faster because of the soils, but it definitely is a very proactive thing to do on a lot of these roads that we have. It's going to extend the lifetime of them. So,
Okay, great.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
One other thing,
Traffic Guy
Mike, you and I talked to a friend of mine who's in the asphalt paving
Yes, sir.
business. And he said that, he said the exact same thing, it's 5 to 8 year extension on the life of the road. It can't be a ruined road.
correct.
But it's just a road that needs to be helped, but rather than doing a complete overlay or making major repairs to it, this will extend the life 5 to 8 years without having to spend a lot of money to do a complete overlay.
Absolutely. And what our in-house crew can do is go in there and you see some of the, you know, there may be some, where it would, not even a pothole. It hadn't gotten to the point of a pothole, but it needs to be repaired. They can, you know, fix that and then go back and chip seal that. So, there's a pretty good bit of work that they can do in-house to these roads. So any of the good to very good roads, we can go ahead and do this to. And, it's a good deal. I think it's a smart thing to
Make
do.
that amendment motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, I think we've got 2 seconds now. We have a motion by
We all
Councilman
agree.
Lambert.
We all agree.
And
We
we
all
have
agree.
seconds by Councilman Cagliotti and Councilman Cazzo to add the amount of $700,000 for additional funding to the pavement management department. Do we have any objections? None, so moved. Finally, I'd like to state just a real business, a little bit of business, the Transportation Committee. I'm going to move the July of 2018 meeting to the city of Donaldsonville. I've done a lot of thought on this. We have a lot of people that live in Donaldsonville that do have traffic needs, traffic issues, transportation issues, and we've seen that in our agenda. We've seen that we're doing some light improvements there. I know we have some road work that has to be done there. We also, and from talking to people in my district, we have a lot of people that work over there in the industries over there. This is going to give them the opportunity, when they get off of work, they can't make it here by 6, but this will give them the opportunity that if they get off of work, 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, whatever, they can stay in Donaldsonville, come to a transportation meeting there. So that'll give them the opportunity, and we, you know, hopefully we'll do this every year. That's all I have. Thank you all very much, and do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Got a
So
motion
moved.
and a second.